hello. In 1588, the preparations and sailing for King Philip II's Spanish Armada took 2 years for the fleet to get from Spain to the English Channel to attack the British. We've completed the reverse journey in just 16 days. Welcome everybody to the Spanish Grand Prix in the 5th season of Ultimate Virtual, 16 days after Jake took victory at his home circuit in Bedford, the Sunderland Hill Circuit. We return for a race in its second running in Ultimate Virtual. We had it last season as an emergency replacement track due to the Dorvid 36 pandemic, and we couldn't be happier for it to have won the vote of tracks to return as a permanent fixture and honour us with our 50th ever race in Ultimate Virtual. We have some cracking special liveries to show you, and we'll flick through them all now. You can see Girouni in the FVR car. It's a red and a little bit of yellow on that livery, and of course the Spanish colours, but also a tribute to the real-life counterpart of FGR, with their Monaco Grand Prix special livery back in Season 4 of Sunday League. A little bit of a stat for those who haven't followed the real-life counterpart league too much. BFX going with a beautiful deep purple and army green teal retro throwback livery, which is just absolutely stunning. The colours just blend into each other, really gives off that sort of camo vibe, just as their championship winning Season 2 car did. And Sobel, of course, winning back-to-back races in a Season 3 car with a very similar paint scheme. So really nice to see that. Fox have no special livery. Kolos Tvorza have gone a very similar method. They've kept their purple and black car, but gone for that more sort of homegrown feeling that BFX have gone with. Neon Sunset, meanwhile, with a special livery. Should have a special livery. Huh. Don't know what's happened there. Beautiful car nonetheless. Then it's Porsche as well, and flying the racing. Sorry, it's Thunder X rather, with another special livery. This is just a sort of quite a clean red and blue theme. That's been their sort of, or orangey really. It's been their theme for quite a while. And Cado in that retro throwback VLO dark blue and white livery that they ran as a main livery for so many seasons. And I believe that we've gone through most of them. There's the SFR livery with the sort of beigey gold, perhaps representing their race win back in Kyle Army in Season 1. Don't think we have much more to show off. That is about it. We'll follow the drivers on their final laps around the circuit. Fox holds provisional pole. Sobel very, very close behind. Can they go fastest on this final lap? Will we see a little bit of movement here in the leaderboards? Can Fox go even faster? He can't. Girouni can't either. Will anybody improve further down the order? It looks like not many will. Can Bluebell? Yes, he will. He jumps up to 12th position. But all in all, it looks like we are going to have Mr. Fox on pole position here. Fox takes pole position here in Valencia. Sobel will start from P2 on the grid. Andres starts in 3rd. Amazing will start from 4th position. That's Girouni, Kubo right ahead of teammate Jake Brad. Grandi, Andrian and Cado will start from 10th position at the track where he took his first podium last season. Kamikaze will start 11th. Bluebell Boy starts 12th. Anti and Vlad 13th and 14th, a 7th row lockout for the SFR team. Pit Crew will start from P15. Rito starts 16th ahead of Abva. They're not that guy. Jurist and Meneka round out the field. So yes, some interesting things to note. It is Fox starting on pole position. He's not gotten too many pole positions in his career thus far. He got, of course, a podium with his first points of the season last race at Sunderland Hill. Puts him on 18 points, of course, with that P2. And Sobel starting on the front row, looking for a pretty solid result if he can manage. He also has a single podium this season that came back in Saudi Arabia, where Kamikaze pipped him to the win. It's a good track for Fuerza Roja. Speaking of Kamikaze, It was, of course, last season in Valencia. Fuerza Roja took their first ever podium. Cado's first ever podium. Kubo won that day. He was driving for Team Velocity. And Grandi on the podium for Thunder X. Will history perhaps repeat itself, at least in terms of Kubo and Grandi? Cado down in 10th. Less strong qualifying from him. Yeah, should be a really interesting one. We'll put up the tokens now. So as you can see, it's 3 for Sobel, who starts in 2nd position. It's 2 for Kubo, who starts in 6th. None for his teammate, who starts just a position behind him. Apple Amazing spends 2 tokens. He starts in 4th. Jiruni spends 2 tokens. He starts in 5th place. Fox spending 3, starts on pole. Kamikaze spending 3, only qualified 11th. And finally, Andries spending 2. Sorry, Andrian. Long break. Spending 2. We'll start from... No, it is Andries. What am I chatting? Andries, spending 2, will start from 3rd place. What a great qualifying for him and the Kolos Dvorza team. Yeah, some things to look at. We'll have a little look at the team overview. Thunder X running away with it in terms of the constructors at the moment and in terms of the car development. 0.7 index clear of any other team. Fascinating. Indeed, BFX, after a poor week of upgrades, didn't get that level 3 speed, and one of the only 3 teams on the grid not to have level 3 speed. They are 2nd fastest, right ahead of Porsche, who also don't have that speed upgrade, and Neon Sunset Racing, who are lacking in other areas but do have that speed upgrade secured. Perhaps the Turbo 5 and 6 for BFX and Porsche 3 for Neon Sunset. I'd reckon Neon Sunset probably have the 2nd fastest package at a track like this. So should definitely be interested to see. Those teams with 2 speed might really struggle down the very long straights that this circuit entails. In terms of the upgrades, yeah, BFX the only team to get nothing out of this week. Kolos Dvorza got a speed upgrade. Fox got a grip upgrade. Superfast Racing got a speed upgrade. And Team Velocity got an acceleration upgrade. Every other team got 2 or even 3 upgrades. So a huge week in terms of car upgrading. I believe it was something along the lines of 16 upgrades across the 20 roles. So really quite something that... and then the driver standings, as you can see, Grandi absolutely running away with it. 34 points clear of anybody else, even Jake after that win last time out at his home circuit. Abva remains the only driver to score points in every single race so far this season in what is a relatively quick Fox car. He's not spending any tokens today. Let's see how he can do, if he can keep that streak going. Bluebell on a pretty decent streak, although with a lot of tokens spent. He finished 3rd, and 5th, getting him 40 points so far this season. That puts him 4th in the standings. Cado, who won his home race just a little bit ago at the Circuit Paul Ricard in Le Castellet, finished last in Sunderland Hill. Can he bounce back to a stronger result here today? He's not spending any tokens. It might be a tough one for him. Sobel, last race, got his first race without any points, and Kamikaze only has 1 race with any points, and that is Saudi Arabia, where he won and took the point for the fastest lap. Eurist yet to get on the podium for Team Velocity this season. Hermenica with some solid results. Andrews with a podium for Kolos Dvorza back in Saudi Arabia. Bluebell has followed in with 2 more for the team since then. Not that guy on a consecutive run of points score. He probably won't score today. But FVR do have a good car, so you can't rule anything out. And Fox and Anti, you can see, both have 4 non-scores and 1 2nd place finish at opposite ends of the season so far. Finally, we'll just flick to the constructors standings. It's Thunder X, well clear of anyone. Neon Sunset right ahead of Velocity, right ahead of Kolos, right ahead of Fox. So you have 2nd down to 5th, those 4 teams separated by just 6 points, and then a really close fight lower down as well. BFX leading the quote-unquote midfield group ahead of Porsche, who are ahead of FVR, ahead of SFR, ahead of Fuerza. No team in the entire order separated from another team by more than 3 points, apart from Thunder X, who are absolutely flying out ahead. Really incredible to see that. And the big chasm as well between the 2 sets of teams. That is all the waffling that I will subject you to for the moment. It should be a thoroughly entertaining race. We have Sobel, Kubo, Apley, Jiruni, Fox, Kamikaze and Andries, your big contenders today, who will take the podium positions. This is it then. We're almost ready for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. It's mediums for Fox. It's underway here in Valencia. Sobel starts from second position, tucks in behind Fox at the race start. Andries just following up there on the soft compound tyre. We've got Girouni and Apley and Kubo all having started on the soft as well. Girouni and Apley side by side down the straight. Girouni in that bright red FVR special livery. Kubo round the outside he goes, and of Sobel as well. Andries hits the front here. He gets past Fox. Girouni with a dive bet up the inside of the Canadian. Kubo absolutely slicing his way through. He's up into second place already. He's gained 4 positions in the opening lap here and set the fastest lap while doing it so far. Sobel's fallen down to 5th. Amazing up the inside. Jake there. Kamikaze and Andrian fighting it out. It really confused me that because the black car is not the black team on my results sheet. So that's why I was confusing Andries and Andrian, not because I've forgotten about and neglected this league. Kada running in 11th. Grandi right behind Rito. These two massive title contenders from last season down the order at the moment. Currently up top though, Kubo has hit the front. It's Girouni in second. Andries has fallen all the way down to 5th in the space of 1 lap. Poor showing from him over the course of that second lap. Amazing with an astonishing lap though, and he really pulls himself quite further up. You can see this front pack of 4, maybe 5 being generous with Mart as Fox uses a bit of his turbo, gets himself back in to that competitive position up into first place ahead of 5 soft running cars. And you can see there's a bit of a separation going all the way back to, well, the Fuerza Rojas actually are really not putting in a bad shift. Andrian up into 6th position, not spending any tokens today. Don't know what he had for breakfast, but he's absolutely off to a flyer. Amazing and Andries, the Belarusian driver, and the Dutchman scrapping it through there. Kubo just up the back there. He's fallen a few positions further down. It's still Fox leading on that medium compound tyre. Girouni will make that not for much longer, and Andries does double pain there for the Canadian, looking to take the lead himself. Down into the hairpin he goes. Can Girouni hang it out the outside? He's just not quite got the traction grip underneath him. Girouni does though get a really good move back up the inside into that final corner as we head down this kinked main straight. Kubo sets his personal best lap of the race. He's back up into 3rd already. We'll have a look down the rest. It's Kamikaze who's finally gotten clear of his teammate Andrew, who's still off to a very good start for a non-token spending Fuerza. Maybe the speed spamming has finally come into effect at their home race, which is a massive speed dependent track. Sobel and Jake side by side, these old racers, competitors from back in their season 3 days, fighting over 8th position at the moment. It's a bit of a BFX sandwich with Rito running that beautiful retro BFX livery. In 10th is Anti and Pitcrew side by side into the final hairpin, and Pitcrew does get the position on the hard compound tyre, mind you, so that is interesting to see. Bluebell Boy is our first driver into the pit lane for the Coolest Forza team. The owner driver has hired a pit crew to get him some tyres as he goes into that final box, and will fall off the back of the racing pack, at least for the time being, until we see others coming into the box. Meanwhile, we've got a big pack fighting over 4th position. It's Amazing ahead of Kamikaze, ahead of Fox side by side into the final corner. Will anybody be going in? Comi does file into the pit lane, our second driver to pit, and in right behind is his teammate Andrew. They're double stacking here at Fuerza Roja. Let's see how this goes. Comi will pull into that penultimate box. Does he get away? Just about, and beautifully done by the Fuerza Roja team. Kamikaze will come out really nice and cleanly in 9th position, ahead of Grandi on the worn hards, and Andrian unfortunately just into this bit of traffic, but does have much fresher tyres than all those around him. Maybe the undercut really is the strategy for Fuerza Roja to just try and get something out of it. Uris is coming to the pit lane. Kubo, Girouni and Andries all in now as well. Fox will go through, and for the 3rd or 4th time this race will take the lead here in Valencia, as he did from pole position. Andries in 4th he comes out, and you can see that the gap they built behind, and this is just a really key thing to note in any sort of virtual racing. The soft starters get so much traction off the race start and the opening laps that they can actually open up an entire pit stop behind them in that time, and that's exactly what we've seen these drivers do. Yes, of course, they're front runners. They are all spending tokens. Mart is spending 2 tokens here. Girouni spending 2. Our only 3 token spenders, in fact, are Fox, Kamikaze and Sobel. It's Kubo, Apley, Jeru and Mart all on the 2 token spend instead. Kubo, having stopped for those hard leads here, he did, of course, win in Valencia last year. He is somewhat of a king of the streets. He was Mr. Monaco, or at least a title shared with current teammate Jake Brad, until Grandy came in and took it this season as well. But he's got the most wins of any driver at the Monaco Grand Prix, having won in Season 2 and Season 4 after thrilling battles in both races. And he might just be looking to further strengthen that title of a street circuit champion if he can take another win at Valencia, be the only driver to have won at Valencia, having done it twice. So Andries moves his way past. That's not exactly surprising. The soft is the tyre to be on here. To the outside of Girouni, into that final hairpin. Well, not quite the final hairpin, but into the far hairpin. And he does actually go deep, but does pull off that move. A really, really impressive move from Mart. Apley and Fox have dropped back a little bit. Fox looking to climb higher up. He did start on pole. He does have 3 tokens to slosh around. So, you know, he's going to hope to get back up. It goes through the chicane here. Nice, easy work of it into P4 for the Canadian driver who scored his first points of the season last race at Sunderland Hill. As you can probably cop there. Yeah, P2 there at Sunderland Hill. So, good result for him there. Apple Amazing gets passed by Kamikaze. Kamikaze up into P5, and Komi so far this season only having scored points at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. So Apple Amazing not having a great season himself. Points in 3 races, a P6 in Australia, a P8 in Monaco, a P9 at the Circuit Paul Ricard. So points in more often than not, but still not amazing. Girouni and Andries side by side for the lead here. The former BAR driver who was quite lucky to find a seat this season, in essence getting Alboned by the team that was second fastest, or at least second highest in the standings last season, and decided after a bit of a rebrand they wanted no more of his service. Ikolowski took his grace and retired. Andries looking to stay on the grid, did just about stick to Kola Sforza, although there was some contract shenanigans right at the start of the season that nearly suggested he was about to be replaced with SCR team principal Aria Carmona, but that didn't end up happening. Fox is just holding back a little bit from Girouni. These two teams, well, it'd be disingenuous to call them sister teams, but certainly there's no denying the links between the two Canadian outfits on the grid, running in orange and red today, but not losing any love as they head into turn 1. And Fox on the soft compound tyre, despite similar wear with Girouni's medium, just has that straight line speed, has the exits out the corners, but Mart still continues to lead. Apple Amazing fallen down to 5th. Fox does hold the fastest lap of the race. He's going to look to try and close that gap up a little bit. He's lapping Rito already on lap 14. Poor start for Rito, a poor start to the season for BFX, to be honest. They are 21 points adrift of 5th place in the standings, being in P6. Their results so far have been a little bit pitiful. Rito 19th in the championship, 10 points on the board, and all of them came at the season opening Australian Grand Prix at Adelaide. And aside from that, 18 other drivers have taken home more points at this stage of the season, but Rito does have 8 tokens left to spend even after this race, so let's not have that as a dead and buried prediction just yet. But with BFX really having a strong car in that last triple header, one would argue that was the time to strike. Sobel similarly, he's got a P11, 2 P10s, a couple points from that, but then mainly the P6 in Monaco and a P2 in Jeddah were his big point scoring results. So that's put him on 28 points so far this season, 6th in the standings. He's not done too badly for himself, but really needs to bring home some good points today, and he's just not looking like it at the moment. Up the inside of Jake he goes into turn 1. Nice little move there, but he shouldn't be fighting Jake. That's absolutely not what should be happening. BFX had the fastest car, or 0.1 off the fastest car for 3 consecutive races after the upgrades triple header for Monaco, Le Castellet and Sunderland Hill. And that was the time to strike, and the fact that they've gone to this speed track being 1 speed down on every single team bar 2, and spending here, and now that they've actually fallen back a little bit into that sort of pack, this, and even the fact that they're, whatever it is, 89 off the next speed upgrade, they could probably get that in 2 rolls. This is the worst time for BFX to be spending. The lack of speed upgrade at this circuit has massively screwed them. I mean, there is absolutely no doubting that. massively screwed them. Yeah, so no, Rito being lapped already, P14 for him. Kubo leads because he's not pitted off that set of hards that he put on lap whatever, probably like lap 8 or 9. No, like 7 or 8 maybe. These softs don't go for that long. Girini has pitted twice as his third stint, and I believe he's taken 3 on the soft, and he's just looking to absolutely pillage his way through the field. Or maybe his second was on the medium, rather. And Kubo into the pit lane. Kado coming out of it. He's nearly a lap down, but he's in a 14th position. As it stands, a podium sitter last time, not a podium sitter today from current form. Reminder of the tokens. It's 3 for Sobel, 2 for Kubo, 2 for Apple Amazing, who we've not seen that much of this race, but he is in P5, I've been informed. And then it's 2 for Girouni, 3 for Fox, 3 for Kamikaze, and 2 for Andrij. Fight for the lead, not much of one at the moment, but Fox closing in slowly but surely. These 3 cars within a second and a half from first down to third position. A little bit more than that now as Andrews just gets held up behind the Polish driver and the sister car, and he uses just a little bit of holding up from Rito to actually spring a move on Fox on the hard. Doesn't work, but this is the back straight where you'll get so much more purchase on those soft compound tyres, and he absolutely uses a bit of turbo, flies his way past. How's his tyres doing in comparison to Jerry's? Jerry's are a lot fresher, and I think that is because he took the medium in that second stint, so he does lead here. So really looking for his, I believe it would be his second career victory. He took victory in, well, he's driven for them since season 2. He took victory at the Brazilian Grand Prix at the end of season 3, that famous reverse grid race. Can't really think. He was very, very close to the win in Monza at the finale last season, but he didn't win there. I can't really think of many races that he's won. It's either 1 or 2. And Goose has taken a couple himself. I remember Baku season 1, Mugello season 2. I'm sure there's another one that I'm forgetting in there. Probably one of the ones last season where I had to do something like 10 races in 12 days. But Andrews, meanwhile, moves himself back up into first position. A good overtake from the Dutchman on the Belarusian. And Girouni just going to tuck in behind in P2. Andrews has more worn tyres, and Jerry getting a little bit bullied by the lapped car of Anti at the moment. The hards seem a popular choice for those on the cusp of the podium. It's Fox ahead of Kubo on a much fresher hard. Kubo has decided the hard is the way to go here, as it was for many back in the Sunday League race at a variation of this circuit back in season 7. Many tried the 3-stopper, myself included, by just taking those hards as long as they would last. Slightly different circuit now, but Andrews comes out of the pit lane, and it looks like the soft strategy is really working, you know, because he's come out of the pit lane. He's ahead of Kubo, who has done a fair few laps on that hard. Don't get me wrong, he's got a long way to go, but he's done a fair few laps on that hard already. Kolos Tvorza have a 3.2 index car, Neon Sunset Racing 3.7. They have same speed, same acceleration. The grip is a bit of a difference there. It's 5 for Neon Sunset, it's 4 for Kolos Tvorza, and then the 3 turbo also thrown into the mix there. Will pop up the little tower there for you to look at. The Thunder X cars should be doing really well, but fun enough, in what is probably, I would gander on BFX getting that speed upgrade next race, which would take them right back in it on 4.5 index. Only 4.5 if they do decide to do 2 speed rolls, but if they get very lucky with 1 speed roll and get something else, then who knows. On what is probably their only race with a car that is this far ahead of the field, they're strangely just not spending any tokens, and they're not doing too badly tokenless. Pit Crew is in, where is Pit Crew? Pit Crew's in 12th, Grandy's in 9th, so they are tokenless. They might be on for some points. There are only 7 token spending drivers today, so you'd actually predict them 8th and 9th. A 6-point haul would not be terrible tokenless, but if they spent 2 or 3 tokens a day, I mean, Jesus, they'd be coming away with 30, 40 points. It's not rocket science. We've had a rain announcement. I'm sorry, I missed that. Jake was the first driver in the top pack to come in. All the rest came in a lap later, and I think that is the strat, as they say, because it's only just gotten wet now, so the likes of Sobel pitting that a little bit later will benefit from that. Sobel is battling with Jake earlier. Jake comes around the final corner. He must have lost a lot of time, I think, in that early section of the lap. And as you can see, he comes into the final corner. Sobel comes just cutting through turn 1 into the turn 2 section of the chicane, and out into 7th place. Fox still leads. Kubo in 2nd. It's Andres down to 3rd now. The Kubo hard strategy looking to have paid off a little bit. Although actually he was on these older hards, but I think he just had the speed, a little bit of extra grip over that Kolos Dvorza car, which got us, that's right, rambling about the car index in the first place. And he's gotten himself up into 2nd place. Could it be another win for Kubo in Valencia? Could it be potentially a first win for Kubo this season? 14th in the Drivers' Championship with 14 points only. It's not great. He's scored a season highest P5 at the Monaco Grand Prix. Spending 3 tokens there and not being in the top 4 is not what you want to see. But then tokenless P9s in Australia and Saudi Arabia. They had a pretty meh car for the upgrade triple header in Monaco, France and Great Britain. So it's somewhat explainable that he got that poor result in Monaco, considering the token spent, and then obviously tokenless was absolutely nowhere. In the other races, we're spending another 2 today. You still have 5 left to spend after this Valencia race, so we'll see what you can do. But 2 token victory is not something we would have seen in a little while. So big kudos to him if he can pull it off. Fox will absolutely be looking to gun for that win if he possibly can. He hasn't taken a victory in his career. He got close last race. Well, not that close because Jake did dominate, but a P2 for him. And a P2 back in Adelaide, season 4, with Abver as his teammate in that historic 1-2 for the WTEC team. Girouni in 3rd, just ahead of Andrews. These two have been fighting a lot so far this race, and they're going to absolutely continue to do so. The Kolos Dvorza versus the Flying V Racing car, both not especially quick cars. Tommy's in here, speaking of not very quick cars. 2.6 index, he won't give a shit. He's gone right down the inside of Jero, tried it on Mart, hasn't worked. Lapping Anti here, can he use the straight line speed down the straight to the outside at the chicane? Yes, he can. Kamikaze might take Fuerza Roja's 2nd podium at their home circuit in as many seasons if he can hold on to this 3rd place for another, however many it would be, 13 laps now. I think he can do it, you know. Girouni and Mott have been caught with their pants down, proverbially, of course. Literally, it would be quite illegal, but incredible. Incredible from Comi. He was battling with his tokenless teammate earlier on, who still, by the way, is in 10th position. Credit to him. We can see the last place runner, Abver, just getting lapped by Comi there. Yeah, credit to him. Oh, Kubo's past Fox. So great wet pace from the Neon Sunset car. 3.7 index. It is only 0.2 off the 2nd fastest car, the BFX, but it does have that 3rd level of speed. So, with Thunder X not spending here today, as we see Fox get back down the inside, but Kubo get a better line and a better exit through that corner. Can Fox get a good run down the straight, inches ahead? Doesn't need any turbo for that one. Will just go past Kubo. On lap 32 here, Fox once again takes the lead. A great little ding-dong battle here. Yeah, so if you look at it, the top 4 cars, Thunder X, 4.6 index, BFX, 3.9, Porsche, 3.8, Neon Sunset, 3.7. Neon Sunset on paper, the 4th fastest car, but that doesn't tell the story. Thunder X not spending tokens today. Kubo to the outside at the bridge section. Can he get the move finally done there? Fox is going to come back at him yet again down the straight. He used a bit of turbo this time, and he's going to pull 5, 6, 7, 8 car lengths clear. Kubo just doesn't have the beans down that straight. The Fox straight line speed, weirdly, is quite good. They've not got an outstanding car. They're 0.3 behind in index. They've got an extra acceleration. They're 1 down on grip, and they've not got the 3 turbo. They've got 0 turbo compared to NSR's 3. But he does seem to be doing well here. It is, of course, 3 tokens that Fox is spending compared to 2 for Kubo. Let's look at the rest of our token spenders. We have Sobel spending 3 tokens. He's into the pit lane, the first, well actually not quite, the 2nd driver in behind Amazing of this front pack. It's going to be quite adventurous to get any sort of undercut. The fact that he's spending 3 tokens, this has to be checked off the race because this almost can't be right. But it's that 2 speed To finalise my earlier thought as well, as we see the front runners in, Thunder X aren't spending tokens, and both Porsche and BFX, with a faster car on paper, don't have that level 3 speed, and this is a speed track. So Neon Sunset Racing, you'd argue, with any token spent here, would have the best chance of winning, unless being massively outspent by one of the teams that are slightly behind in car index. I'd say they have the second best package at this track. Jake pretty much demonstrating that as well. Jake 8th, ahead of Grandy in 9th. That is very curious indeed. Probably just a grid positioning thing really, but Jake was only a few positions ahead. Yeah. So this is incredible though. Sobel, 3 tokens, and he's in 7th position. Almost extraordinary, to be honest. I'm going to check that after the race. Kubo, 2 tokens, is up in 2nd place. He'll be pretty pleased with that so far, but he's obviously got his eyes on the prize. Amazing spending 2 tokens. He's in 6th place. That's a bit more reasonable to be taking 4 points per token, 8 points for those 2 tokens, rather than Sobel 2 points per token, 6 points for 3 tokens. Jaruni spending 2 tokens is up in 4th place. He'll be elated with that in the FVR car, that with that recent upgrades finally really gotten itself to be a competitive car. 3.4 there, sort of head of the, well, I think they've got the tied 5th fastest car with Fox, so yeah, a good car. Pretty good car. Then we've got Fox spending 3 tokens, our current race leader, but don't hold your breath on that for too long. Kamikaze spending 3 tokens, our current 3rd place sitter. And Andres spending 2 tokens, currently in 5th. But the fact that Sobel, well actually no, look, it's sort of closing in here, but still 11 seconds. No, that's not true. A lot of seconds, sort of 3-second gaps all around here. Amazing laps his teammate Hetmenica, who has been a little bit anonymous this season. 3 points finishes, 7th, 5th and 7th. But not much. Abfa, by the way, in last place, will almost certainly lose that streak now. Kamikaze goes for the undercut. This is something we want to see, because you've got Fox out there on old hard, well, not that old, but pretty old, worn hards, used hards, and Kubo on the medium. Komi has gone for the soft, which is obviously the best tyre at this track, as you saw from the race start, and from the fact that speed is so dependent here. He's just going to try and cut into that gap as much as he physically can. 8 seconds it stands now to Kubo, but Kubo also falling off Fox a little bit there, so you have to allow a little bit of leeway for that. Komi just going to go to the end on these softs. He's done that slight different strategy there. Kubo and Fox both going to the end on these tyres. We obviously only have 4 more laps to run in what has been a Spanish Grand Prix that's absolutely flown by, with the lead changes, with the fight for the podium. Jaruni, amazing, has now gotten past Andres. We'll do a tyre check for everyone, because Fox going to the end on hards, Kubo on mediums, Komi on softs, Jaruni on similar condition softs. Apley will struggle to get to the end on those mediums. He'll fall back a little bit. Andres looking much better on the soft, as is Sobel, but he's now 7-8 seconds off that pack. Jake on the fresh soft, looking really good for P8. Then it's Grandy and Pit Crew looking to take double points, tokenless for Thunder X. Fox still in the lead. 2 seconds is the gap. Will Kubo's mediums come into more of an effect here? Will Komi make up 7 seconds in 3 laps? I really doubt it, but he might. Jaruni laps his teammate there, probably not for the first time, you'd reckon. Yeah, double lap on his teammate. Amazing now doing the same on Not That Guy, who will end his run of point scoring finishes this race by finishing down in what looks to be 14th position. Not that bad, pretty respectable. Rain on the way. Andres closing on an Amazing. This might be the golden ticket for the Belarusian driver, who is looking quite dicey to get to the end. The question is, will anybody go for a different strategy? Will people stay out perhaps? That could be absolutely something to consider. Jake has put on the inters. Fox and Kuba both on the wet. The track's still bone dry currently. Komi on the wet as well. Jeru's gone for the inters. That is fascinating. 2 laps left here. Amazing on the wet. Sobel, one of our last drivers to come into the pit lane, he will take the wets as well. So Jeru is the enigma to watch out for. And anybody who stayed out there would have massively benefited, considering that, you know, you're not actually going to, unless you're going to want to pit on the final lap, to be honest, because Fox coming up to start the last lap, the track is going to be dry really pretty quickly. So that actually might be what makes it worth it pitting for a wet compound rather than staying out on the slicks. The fact that you don't have to come back into the pit lane, you can take the checkered flag on that wet compound of tyre. But look how much time Mart is gaining on Jeru, and the track is only going to get wetter. Fox comes up to lap his teammate who's had a torrid day. But maybe, just maybe, with the gap that he's built up and the performance he's put on today, the stars align, the car is good. 3 tokens for the Canadian driver, and for the very first time in Ultimate Virtual, Fox wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Kubo will come home second on the podium, and Kamikaze, a home podium for him. Fantastic, his first points since his win back in Jeddah. Jiruni will come home and will secure the 4th place ahead of Martin 5th, that amazing 6th, and Sobel, nearly unlapped by his teammate, will take that 7th place finish in the end. Jake looks like he'll come home pretty nicely ahead of Grandy and pit crew. Come the end of the race, Fox with the fastest lap 2 will win here in Valencia. 2nd place was Kubo. Really nice for him. Fox will be massively bolstered in the standings after the round 4. He had no points to his name. Now he'll have a whole 44 to his name. That'll put him probably up to the top 5 in the standings, I'd reckon. Kubo, a good performance in Neon Sunset Racing. Wasn't another win here, but it was a 2nd place for the former Team Velocity driver. Kamikaze takes Fuerza Roja's 2nd podium at this circuit. Really nice job there. Jiruni for Flying V Racing seems to always finish P4. Yeah, he did it in Monaco, and it is his 2nd P4 finish of the season. Andres will finish 5th. He'll be relatively pleased with that. Not the podium that he got in Saudi Arabia, but good points for only 2 tokens spent. Remember, Commie and Fox both spent 3 tokens. Our other 3 token spender, Sobel in P7, nowhere near the top 6 even. 6 seconds away in the end. That's a whole pit stop. He'll be shaking his head, wondering what happened, and BFX have to ask themselves, where do they go from here? Yeah, so it's Belarusian, Dutch, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. That was amazing. Snuggling in there for Porsche. 2 tokens for him, 8 points, not a bad return. Jake, 4 points for no tokens, proving the Neon Sunset package really superior here. It was 12 seconds ahead of Grandy and 21 ahead of pit crew in the Thunder X, faster on paper. So maybe a bit of luck involved there, but at the end of the day, it's 4 points for Neon Sunset, 3 points for Thunder X. They cut into the championship lead on that alone by 1, but with Kubo's result, it's going to be a whole lot more. Don't forget that the pit crew has all of his 10 tokens yet to spend. Andrian, 11th. Ahead of Anti, then Cado, not that guy. Rito, 15th place for him. Andrian didn't score points today, so he does still maintain 19th in the championship, not last. Vladinator, 16th, not a great day for Superfast Racing. They didn't spend any tokens, they didn't score any points. It's pretty much as you'd expect. Menica, 17th for Porsche. He'll slide down the championship a little bit. Bluebell Boy, 18th for Carlos Sforza. Abva ahead of Eurus, who finishes P last for Team Velocity, who didn't have a great day. That is all. Thank you for joining us in this landmark 50th race in Ultimate Virtual. Here's to 50 more. But for now, bye-bye.